Liverpool transfer bombshell. Big updates on Rio Ngumoha, a £43 million bid, Fabrizio Romano's latest, and major decisions under Arne Slot. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool news and don't miss a single transfer twist. I burst onto the scene at Liverpool when I was 17. They shouldn't treat Rio Ngumoha the same way. Michael Owen speaks to the Echo about Rio Ngumoha's Liverpool first-team prospects and why Arne Slot should take the FA Cup seriously this season. When Liverpool welcomed Barnsley to Anfield on Monday night, Rio Ngumoha will be hoping to be handed a starting opportunity by Arne Slot. It was on this day last year when the teenager made his Reds debut in the FA Cup third round against Accrington Stanley after all. Fast forward 12 months, and with the same stage of football's most famous domestic cup competition having come around once again, and the forward now boasts 10 senior appearances to his name. Meanwhile, he became Liverpool's youngest ever goal scorer when netting the winner against Newcastle United back in August. But despite being just 17 years old, some Red supporters think Slot should have used the youngster more, especially given Liverpool's struggles in front of goal at times this season. It is true that he has been used sparingly as the Reds look to manage him carefully, with their injury woes ensuring that while Ngumoha has been a regular in the Slot's matchday squad this season, he has also been starved off minutes and missed out on academy game time as a result. Consequently, Liverpool will have the opportunity to hand the highly rated youngster some valuable minutes against Barnsley and give Ngumoha the opportunity to once again stake his claim. He won't be the only one either, with fellow teenager Trey Nyoni also in contention to come into the Reds' starting 11 against the Tykes as Slot weighs up his options. But having burst onto the stage himself as a 17-year-old for Liverpool, Michael Owen, speaking to the Echo on behalf of Casino.org, where he is UK ambassador, which helps players find the best casino online options in Britain, has warned his former club against overusing the pair before they are truly ready, insisting they are not yet better than the senior alternatives available to Slot despite supporter hype. In time, maybe they will be good enough to start more. At the minute, they have got to do their apprenticeship a little bit, Owen said. Training with the first team is going to help them being part of that squad, bringing them on for game time. But are they better than Alexander Isak? Are they better than Mohamed Salah? Are they better than Hugo Ekitike? No. These are players that might come on as an impact player at the moment. Very good players, yes. Are they the next Wayne Rooney coming through? No. Could they play for Liverpool permanently in the future? Maybe. They've got to carve out a career for themselves. Hopefully it's at Liverpool. But should they be playing from the start? Are they better than some of the great players that Liverpool have got? No, they're not at the minute. So that suggests that I would think that their careers are going to be continuing on this path, and if they keep doing well and keep playing better and better, then they'll get more and more minutes, and eventually it might justify starts, but certainly not at the moment, ahead of players that have won Premier Leagues and been the best players in the world for years and years and things like that. They're miles off that at the moment. One of the reasons why supporters have wanted to see more of Ngumoha in the Liverpool first team is due to Liverpool's current lack of options in attack. Mohamed Salah is away at the Africa Cup on Nations with Egypt, while Alexander Isak is a long-term absentee after suffering a fractured leg last month against Tottenham Hotspur. Meanwhile, the Reds have also been without Hugo Ekitike for their last two outings after he suffered a hamstring injury, with the absence of the trio also leaving Liverpool lacking pace. Slot has had to be creative as a result, with Cody Gakpo and Florian Wirtz having both been turned to up front, while Jeremy Frimpong has been utilized on the right wing. And while Owen has been impressed with Frimpong, he is not convinced that Gakpo can be a long-term solution up front. No, he can't play up front regularly. He can do a job, obviously, he scored a good goal against Fulham, but there were one or two occasions when I was pulling my hair. I'm thinking he should have done something more because I covered the match. He can be an adequate replacement while people are injured or whatever, but no, he's not a natural center forward. Who'd have thought it? In the summer, everybody said, oh, they're buying so many players and they've got so much money spent and all the rest of it. However, you get one player away on international duty and a couple of injuries, and all of a sudden, you've not got a center forward. You've not got those options that you probably require. You could say Frimpong can play that role reasonably naturally, but in general, I'd say he's a wingback, so you're pushing him into a position that maybe that's not his best. Despite spending a couple of $100 million on attacking players, it's mad. But that's how injuries go, that's how football goes, and they're going to have to make the best of it. I don't think Mo Salah will be away much longer, and I don't think Ekitike's injury is too bad, so hopefully it's only short term. One of Owen's finest moments during his own career came in the FA Cup when his late break against Arsenal earned Liverpool victory in the 2001 final, as Gerard Houlier's side went on to clinch a cup treble. Now, 25 years on, the 46-year-old concedes the tournament is no longer as glamorous to sides as it once was. But with Slot's Liverpool already out of the League Cup and seeing their Premier League title defense go up in smoke, Owen has urged his former club to take the FA Cup seriously this season. And having seen their League Cup campaign ended prematurely after Slot named a youthful, much-changed side, Owen is adamant that the Dutchman should not do the same against Barnsley, even if it means Ngumoha and Nyoni are denied starting opportunities. Looking at the FA Cup, the way that Liverpool's season is gone, the FA Cup is going to have to take more relevance. It's going to have to take more importance. So I don't think Liverpool should be playing all their reserve players and risk getting knocked out of that. They can only win 2 trophies this season realistically. I'd be lying if I said the FA Cup has got the same blitz and glamour to it as what it used to have. The Premier League, the Champions League have risen, and they are now the dream ticket for every club. So the FA Cup has taken a back seat, sad to say. But the competition actually can have a little bit more importance depending on how your season is going. When you get to the latter stages of it, it becomes amazing, and everybody wants to play at Wembley and lift the trophy, and it's fantastic. But I think people possibly give it a little bit less respect in the earlier stages. But with a team like Liverpool that are out of the Carabao Cup, that probably can't win the league now, the only 2 bits of silver where they can win are the Champions League and the FA Cup. Now, if I was on Slot, I wouldn't be messing about playing the reserves and things like that. I would be going full throttle to try to win that trophy, because that now becomes even more important than it normally would.
Liverpool transfer news. Dominik Szoboszlai agrees deal as winger gives dream update. The latest Liverpool transfer news as Dominik Szoboszlai agrees a deal after interest from Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, while the Reds' interest in a talented winger takes a fresh twist. It looks to be another busy month on Merseyside for Arne Slot and his Liverpool coaching staff, who will be eager to turn around period of uninspiring play. The club could potentially dip into the January window to give the Reds a much-needed boost in the second half of the season. However, as already evidenced, securing signings this winter amid stiff competition could be a tough task. Liverpool have already missed out on Antoine Semenyo, who joined Manchester City on Friday in a £64 million move, while the Sky Blues also threatened their aspirations of picking up Marc Guehi through injuries to Ruben Dias and Josko Guardiola. Elsewhere, Liverpool run the risk of losing Federico Chiesa this month, with reports suggesting that the Italian is ready to return to Juventus after failing to work his way into Slot's starting 11, despite injuries to Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak, as well as Mohamed Salah being away on international duty at the Africa Cup of Nations. Dominik Szoboszlai agrees deal. Dominik Szoboszlai is said to have reached an agreement in principle to extend his contract at Liverpool. The Hungarian midfielder has been a burning beacon in Slot's side this season, showing versatility by operating in his natural position in the centre of the park, as well as on the right flank and as a makeshift fullback. As a result, the 25-year-old has caught the attention of a number of Europe's biggest clubs, including Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. But according to Court Offside, Szoboszlai is set to stay at Anfield this month and also sign an extension with his current club. It will come as welcome news to Liverpool fans, given just how instrumental Szoboszlai has been since joining the club in 2023. Diomande issues dream update. Liverpool are among a number of clubs who are said to be interested in Diomande this month as the winger continues to impress in the Bundesliga with RB Leipzig. As of recent, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United and Bayern Munich are also said to be monitoring the 19-year-old's situation. However, if his recent comments on Liverpool are anything to go off, then the Reds may hold a slight advantage when it comes to signing him in the near future. That's because Diomande has explained that he used to dream about playing under Jurgen Klopp at Anfield. He said, "I couldn't believe it because I used to dream of playing on his team, and now I meet him and exchange messages with him. It's crazy. I'm so happy about it." However, Diomande has also explained that he isn't thinking about transfers while he is at AFCON. He added, "I don't pay any attention to the rumours. I try to stay focused, calm and humble. For that, I need 100%. I'm doing my job here and not worrying about anything else."
I wanted to leave Liverpool for years. Arne Slot can now see what I'm capable of. Kelleher left Liverpool in an £18 million deal last summer to join Brentford, and the Republic of Ireland international has made no secret of his desire to leave the Reds to become a #1 goalkeeper. Kelleher is showing Arne Slot exactly what he's capable of, making a brilliant start to his Brentford career. The 27-year-old left Liverpool for the Bees last summer, ending his decade-long stay at Anfield. The Republic of Ireland shot-stopper racked up 67 senior outings for the Reds, across spells playing under both Jurgen Klopp and Slot, but overtaking Alisson Becker as first choice proved impossible. When Liverpool agreed to bring in Georgi Mamardashvili in 2024, Kelleher's days at Anfield looked numbered, and it was an exit the Irishman actively pursued to further his career. Kelleher won't be regretting his move to West London, having played in every fixture during Brentford's strong campaign thus far, with the club sitting 7th in the Premier League table. Ahead of the Bees' season opener back in August 2025, the goalkeeper admitted that his desire to depart Merseyside had been on his mind for quite some time. Speaking to The Telegraph, Kelleher said, "The summer before I came close-ish to leaving Liverpool," reports the Liverpool Echo. "Then throughout the whole season I was wanting to be a #1, and obviously the next and probably best time for me to move was going to be this summer. So I was just focusing on last season, trying to do well and play well. As it goes more towards the end of the season, you're thinking about the next year and the next season. It became apparent Brentford were interested in me, and I think once they registered their interest I was quite keen and things moved quite quickly then. It plays in the back of your mind the whole season. I wanted to be a #1 and wanted to do that for this season. To be fair, the last number of years I was kind of more looking to get a move and to try being the #1, so I don't think it was a big thing for me whether it was this season or not, but I think the time, with 1 year left, added up to be right, and the club obviously needed to make a decision as well, and needed to sell." Kelleher, who has spotted more spot kicks than any other goalkeeper in the league this season, too, has also recorded the joint 4th highest tally of saves, 58, with his outstanding performances drawing considerable praise from Ben Foster. The former Manchester United shot-stopper discussed Kelleher's displays on TalkSport back in November, saying, "He's been phenomenal this season. I think what he's been exposed to at Liverpool, because he played quite a few games at Liverpool, don't forget Alisson had quite a few spells where he's been injured, I think the way he handled himself at Liverpool for one was phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant performances, really calm and measured. But I think that comes off the back of one, obviously his character, I think that's just how he is as a person anyway, but secondly, just being surrounded by Alisson as the #1 goalkeeper, getting to watch that week in, week out. Because if you watch him play, Alisson, he is the personification of calmness under pressure. Any moment you know that he's in full control of everything he's doing."
Liverpool urged to re-sign former player and target Man City star if they miss out on Marc Guehi. Stefan Henchaz thinks Liverpool should make moves for Manuel Akanji and Harry Wilson. Stefan Henchaz thinks Liverpool should turn to Man City defender Manuel Akanji if they miss out on Marc Guehi, and has urged the Reds to bolster their attacking options by re-signing one former player. Arne Slot's side are currently short on defensive options, with Conor Bradley, the latest star, to be struck down by injury. The Northern Ireland international was stretchered off in Liverpool's 0-0 draw with Arsenal, with Slot admitting after the final whistle that he feared the worst for the right-back. Should Bradley be set for a prolonged spell on the sidelines, the Reds would be left with Jeremy Frimpong and Joe Gomez as their senior options at right-back. However, the Dutchman has been utilized further forward in recent weeks in the absence of Mohamed Salah, who is away at the Africa Cup of Nations. While the Egyptian will return to Merseyside later this month, Liverpool are still stretched at the back, with Gomez also the only senior cover Slot boasts for Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate after Giovanni Leone suffered an ACL injury on his Reds debut back in September. Liverpool would have avoided such a dilemma had Crystal Palace not blocked a £35 million move for Marc Guehi at the 11th hour on transfer deadline day last summer. The Reds remain interested in the England international, who will be available on a free transfer at the end of the season. However, he is set to have his pick of the suitors if he does depart on a Bosman transfer, while Man City are reportedly weighing up a mid-season move for the defender after losing both Josko Gvardiol and Ruben Dias to injury. Henchaz insists Liverpool would be the right move for Guehi, urging the Palace captain to snub interest from the likes of Real Madrid in order to make a move to Anfield. However, if the Reds did miss out on the 25-year-old, the former Switzerland international thinks his old club should turn their attention to Akanji, who is currently on loan at Inter Milan, and make a move for the Man City defender instead. "When Real Madrid come in for you, it's hard to turn down," he told Hyper. "That will be the same for Marc Guehi. It's quite normal. They're probably one of the best clubs, if not the best club in history. The name, the shirt, everything. Sometimes players have to think, what's the best decision for me? What is the context? What's the style of play? Okay, the name Real Madrid is one thing. Liverpool is also a great club, and I think you want to play in the Premier League. For me, the Spanish League is good, and okay, you play the Champions League with Real. But if you leave Crystal Palace, coming to Liverpool is the right choice. You can still go to Real, Barcelona, or Bayern Munich after." At this stage of his career, leaving Crystal Palace for Liverpool is definitely a great option. He continued, "Liverpool did want to add one more centre-back. They couldn't sign Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace. It didn't work. But I thought it was a bit strange that they didn't maybe have a plan B or C and still be able to sign one more player. Manuel Akanji would be an interesting option for Liverpool. He has proven his ability in the Premier League with Manchester City despite a slightly difficult last season due to injury. He is 30, which is not old for a centre-back, and he has a good injury record. I have watched him playing for Inter Milan and the Swiss national team since he left City, and he still has the necessary attributes. He possesses everything you want in a centre-back: pace, power, intelligence, good reading of the game, and comfort in possession. Crucially, he knows the Premier League, which is a big advantage for a January transfer. When signing a player in the winter window, you need someone who can fit in and perform immediately. Akanji meets those needs. Therefore, if Liverpool cannot secure their first-choice target, Akanji would definitely be an interesting alternative. Meanwhile, Akanji is not the only player Henchaz thinks Liverpool should make a move for. The Reds' treble winner also believes his old club would be shrewd if they made a move to re-sign Harry Wilson from Fulham.
Liverpool already has Conor Bradley's solution, as Marc Guehi transfer reality is clear. Liverpool's defensive problems have deepened with Connor Bradley's injury, but while a forgotten man is ready to step up, that shouldn't distract from what should be a transfer priority. He's doing his best to play down expectations, but it's becoming increasingly harder for Arne Slot to justify Liverpool potentially not making any major signings this month. It has been a quiet start to the January transfer window, although Antoine Semenyo's move to Manchester City might just spark things into life now. For Liverpool's part, there is a new arrival, with teenager Tala Niaye having completed his move to Merseyside on Friday, although the expectation is that he will be linking up with Rob Page's U21s rather than challenging the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate in the first team. If things keep going the way they are, though, it might not be too long before he gets the call-up. The Reds' defensive woes deepened this week with the sight of Connor Bradley being stretchered off in the dying stages against Arsenal, having just been the subject of some disgraceful attention from Gabriel Martinelli. There's no official word yet on just how long the right-back will be out for, but you only need to look at him leaving the Emirates Stadium on crutches to know it's probably not going to be a swift return. That stretches Slot's defensive options even further, with Mohamed Salah away at AFCON and Jeremy Frimpong filling in on the right wing. Joe Gomez is the next cab off the rank, which is always something of a scary prospect, given his own history with injuries. If he picks up a knock, then Liverpool really is struggling. Of course, there is another option, and one that has the approval of Jurgen Klopp. Calvin Ramsey has come in out of the cold this season, having made a surprise return to the first team in the Carabao Cup earlier this season, while he has been back in the Premier League squad over recent weeks. Something of a forgotten man after a nightmare few years with his own injury problems, Ramsey may now get the chance to truly revive his Anfield career. Monday's FA Cup tie against Barnsley feels as though it has his name written all over it, and more opportunities could come his way thereafter. As useful as it is to have the Scot ready to step up once again, that shouldn't distract from what is an obvious need for the Reds during the January transfer window. Liverpool must sign a new defender, whether that's Marc Guehi or anyone else. Fans are understandably worried that the Crystal Palace captain is slipping out of the Reds' grasp, with Manchester City looking as though it could be the new favorite for his signature, while Arsenal may have also thrown its hat into the ring. Given the current situation, Liverpool cannot let its rivals just swoop in and nab Guehi without any sort of fight. Oliver Glasner has left the door open, and it's up to Richard Hughes to test Palace's resolve once again. Waiting until the summer is not an option. Never mind City or Arsenal getting to him first, Liverpool's season could well hinge on this signing.
Fabrizio Romano gives transfer update on fantastic Liverpool target after Reds submit £43 million bid. Liverpool have been linked with a young star from Barcelona, but the Spanish club appear intent on keeping him at the club. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has said that reported Liverpool target Bargi is an important part of the project at Barcelona after claims in Spain the Reds had submitted a bid for the Swedish international. According to Spanish outlet Fichajes, Liverpool made a £43 million offer for Bargi earlier this week. The Reds are currently without Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike through injury, while Mohamed Salah is on international duty with Egypt at the African Cup of Nations. It leaves Arne Slot short of options up top, with Florian Wirtz used as a makeshift striker against Arsenal on Thursday night. The report from Spain claims that Bargi sees his route to regular first-team football at Barcelona blocked by Lamine Yamal, while Liverpool are said to be offering the Swedish international a chance to become a big player in their project. He is a player known well by Isak, with the duo playing together for Sweden on international during the autumn. This season, he has scored 2 goals and provided 4 assists for Barca in just 413 minutes of action. He is yet to start a Champions League game and has been named in the starting 11 just 3 times in La Liga. Giving an update on the player's situation, Romano said on his YouTube channel, "Meanwhile, Barcelona have announced that Bargi, who is doing fantastic, a great idea by the director Deco and by the head of scouting João Amaro, together they decided to go for Bargi from Copenhagen last summer.
Barca paid €2.5 million for Ronnie Bargi, a fantastic idea, because he's now part of the first team, scoring in a semi-final, and now he has a place into the first team of Barcelona, because Barca registered him as first-team player, number 19 for his shirt, and so Ronnie Bargi, important part of the project. While Romano has shed some insight into how Barca feel about Bargi, the earlier report indicates a sense of frustration the player side. If Liverpool have indeed made an offer of £43 million, the Spanish club could find it difficult to refuse. It would greatly improve their own financial position given the low fee they paid for him in the summer. The Spanish club can turn an almost instant and impressive profit on him or keep him on board as an impact player, forcing Liverpool to move on to other targets.